the 2025 was definitely the year of the agent and agent modes and agentic workflows really coming to the forefront.
The general computer use stuff kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like the AI is not that great at actually like looking at the whole screen, figuring out I need to click here and using software in that way.
That's just like giving my login to a toddler and then watching them try and click around and work out how to use the computer.
Software in that way.
Being able to like vibe code something into existence, whether that's prototyping or building out an MVP or actually just building personal applications for personal and professional life, like is legitimately a thing now.
Welcome to the Heavy AI Podcast, where the future's forging iron and coal.
Hello and welcome to the Heavy AI Podcast, the podcast where we explore the intersection of technology, AI, and heavy industry. I'm Paul, he's Brad, and together we have built Heavy, your AI-powered contract administration platform. And we're kicking off the first episode of 2026 today with a bit of a look back on the year that was 2025. We'll cover off some of the top news of 2025 and then go through a rapid fire of our like state of play of AI and like what our best tools are. And so like, yeah, Brad, just looking back on what the year that was for 2025, it's crazy how quick things have changed in 12 months. Like, yeah, at the start of the year, I think 4.0 was sort of the cutting edge model that wasn't even a reasoning model. And then like OpenAI released all of their O1, O3, and now 5, 5.1, 5.2, and then Gemini 2 went to Gemini 3. And yeah, like pace of AI has been crazy over the last 12 months.
100%. I mean, agentic has been the name of the game this year. And at the start of the year, it was like, oh, will it work or not was what we were wondering. And now it's like just a part of everyday life that we take for granted. So it's a huge change in mindset between them now.
Well, I thought we'd start off just by like some top 5 dot points of news for the last 12 months. And point one for that for me was that like, yeah, LLMs just generally went from being that like next token prediction base to just that like hectic chain of thought reasoning loop by default. That now you get like thinking for minutes or multiple seconds just to even answer a first question rather than just like that instantaneous next token LLM base.
For better or worse. I mean,
for better or worse depends on what your outcome is looking for.
What you're trying to solve. Because I mean, yeah, we still use some, we have different modes obviously in heavy and sometimes we have found that just having a whole lot of context is actually better than getting the AI model itself to go and like try and intelligently pick which bits to read and things like that. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And then, the next back off of that, as you said, is the 2025 was definitely the year of the agent and agent modes and agentic workflows really coming to the forefront. We saw multiple different versions of computer use, agent mode or operator mode, some successful, some not so successful. I know like I personally don't use agent mode because I get frustrated to be like, hey, OpenAI, go and do all this stuff for me. And then you just sit there and be like, that's just like giving my login to a toddler and then watching them try and click around and work out how to use the computer. So there's a bit of way to go in that sort of space, but like a lot of the real value has definitely come around that like deep vertical AI workflow agents, and particularly even like with the stuff that we build at Heavy is like fundamentally the narrower your field of vision, the more vertical and the more niche your application or more niche your workflow is, the better the agentic powers can be.
And I think it kind of comes back to what you're saying about how the general computer use stuff kind of sucks. Like the AI is not that great at actually like looking at the whole screen, figuring out I need to click here and using software in that way. Where it is good is when you have specific tools built for specific tasks and the AI is given those tools, which is, like MCPs, like some of the things that have come up this year. That's where, niche vertical specific applications, even though you're using a pre-trained model, like a GPT or whatever, you have given it specific tools that it is actually able to use for your specific task, which is why it's actually good at that. Whereas the general, hey, like you said, just computer use stuff doesn't tend to work well for those.
Yeah, for sure. And then, the next one off the back of that was that I guess a lot of the thought process around AI fundamentally was that there's going to be some one model to rule them all, and that it's a race to the finish line to build this AGI or ASI that's going to be that default model for everything. And I think there's pretty consensus take around that that's no longer the case, and that like models are converging into specific, like even still generalist use cases, but just better at specific things. Like we see, like, yeah, you ask anyone in industry, oh, what's the best coding model? And it's going to be Claude. Or like, what's the best reasoning model for like deep thinking? And it's probably going to be like 5.2 Pro or Ultra Deep Think. And then what's the best for just like, yeah, the generic context? It's going to be a Gemini model. So like the base models are becoming still very good generally, but like fundamentally niching down to a degree. Like, would you agree with that?
I would, but I also think it's like we've got multiple companies that can release a new model which is better than all the other companies' models. So they're
Yeah.
almost like leapfrog each other, which is so healthy as well. So like if you know Gemini is a new Gemini tomorrow, then it's going to be better than all the others at everything pretty much. But then there'll be another one that's better than all the others at everything. So it's like anyone, or like not anyone, but multiple companies can build the best model, which means we should have a competitive ecosystem, which is good too.
Yeah, for sure. Like they're still throwing tens or hundreds of billions of dollars at this opportunity. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a fair bit to play out just yet. And I think that was the last couple of months of the year very much felt like that one-upping each other almost every week. Like it
Oh
was,
yeah.
Gemini 3,
Gemini
a
3.
new version comes out. GPT goes
5.2.
5.1, 5.2, that just like, hey, we need to get something. And then like, was it Claude, the 4.5s across the Opus and Sonnets. But now it's just, yeah, things have felt like they've settled it down a little bit for the start of the year, but I'm sure things will ramp up very shortly as well.
Yeah, they're all probably just kind of happy at the moment because they're all pretty good. No,
Yeah.
no one's like, it wasn't like when ChatGPT was, so far behind Gemini. They're like, we need to catch up.
The other thing that definitely came to the front last year was the birth of vibe coding as like a legitimate application of AI as well. And like companies like Base 44 getting bought for lots of money, Lovable hitting multiple hundreds of millions of ARR within 12 months. Definitely seeing, and even personally, like I'm a non-technical person, but being able to like vibe code something into existence, whether that's prototyping or building out an MVP or actually just building personal applications for personal and professional life, like is legitimately a thing now.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like it's the tip of the iceberg. Like I know it's obviously a very text-based activity, and therefore an LLM is going to be good at that. But like obviously, that it's kind of just like a forecast of what's to come in other parts of work and other parts of our lives. Just being able to chat with AI to like actually, like really do the jobs that we currently do now.
For sure. And that was then following on to my last point for our news for 2025 was that real leap in terms of the multimodal reality as well. Like, so like the text to image reality's gotten really, really good. So it's like essentially indistinguishable from a photo now. Text to video has become a long way. Like VO3 dropped, which was the first one that could actually get audio and video at the same time. And then Sora 2 came out, which sort of, one-upped VO3 as well. And voice has become on in leaps and bounds in terms of like whether it's voice to voice or text to voice or voice to text. Like there's so many opportunities across that multimodal foundations within AI that like, the opportunities are quite massive.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, the other one is image to text kind of thing. Like having image be an input to the model is taken for granted now, when that was definitely something a year ago that was not taken for granted. There were still different. You have like a different model for like passing images sometimes.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like always rolled in.
And video is even in the options now as well. Like I've uploaded native demo videos of me in Heavy to be like, hey Gemini, like how can I make this better, or how can I make this more clearer, or like fundamentally what should I be doing better? And it just like passes a multi-minute long video of me on Loom talking about Heavy, and it's like, hey, cut this out or highlight this section here or do this more. It's like, okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else in terms of like the latest and greatest of AI in 2025 before we jump into our AI awards for the year?
No, I think we've covered it. Let's get into it.
Tonight we crown the future. The heavy AI award. 2025.
Cool. So, jumping into our current state of AI and AI awards for 2025, we'll just rapid fire sort of, hopefully only a few word answers for each of these as we go through. But like Brad, starting off with our best general model, if you had to like do anything with AI, just rapid fire, what are you loading up?
I am doing 5.2 now, ChatGPT, GPT 5.2 for just general stuff, which, it's close to Gemini, but back to ChatGPT.
I don't know. Like I'm probably 50-50. If I'm on,
I know I'm very close.
If I'm on my computer, like I've got one tab, it'll be a Gemini 3 Pro, and then there'll be one tab which is 5.2. I guess my answer will be likely Gemini 3 because for most stuff it's just quicker than 5.2.
Yep. No,
I mean, I won't even talk anymore because my next step is like, what's the best for that reasoning model, or for like hard problems where you need that sort of deeper think, which for me is definitely like 5.2 thinking button, and like think about something for multiple minutes and 5 minutes at a time, and then come back with a great answer.
No, totally. I think I agree. And it's like I've tested side by side different models, especially with coding use cases, and you can just see it going deeper, looking at things, but second, third order effects of the things that it's proposing before it proposes and stuff like that. So definitely agree.
The one thing that I'll just add to this is my use case typically changes from mobile to desktop, because one of the issues that I find with GPT is that if I get out of the mobile app, it will not like continue thinking. Whereas the Gemini app, I can like run a prompt and then like swipe away and it'll still be running in the background. And then like I can go back to the app and the answer will be there. And like, given we're on school holidays and during the holiday period, like I'm out and about on my phone a lot more than sitting at a desktop at the moment. So like I'm finding myself just running Gemini stuff, and then I can quickly swipe it away and get back to doing something else, and then come back with the answer already there.
That is interesting, because I definitely have ChatGPT on my phone doing stuff in the background. So I don't know,
Maybe it's
iOS, Android.
I was going to say maybe it's like my Google Pixel is like, no, fuck you.
That's it.
You can only use Gemini only.
That's it.
Will bug out everything else. Probably true.
Yeah.
Okay, so next category, best coding copilot, and I should say like native IDE, which I'll probably put my hands up and say I'm not going to give an answer to this one because I haven't used any native IDEs.
Yeah, well, I've been doing. I like to test them a lot, and I still like Opus 4.5 the best. I have been trying 5.2 Codex, and like I said, like I think maybe for looking at bugs, everyone says it's better for ambiguous stuff. So I think looking at why something is going wrong, maybe 5.2 is good. And Composer, the cursor model, is definitely the fastest by far. So that one, if you need to do something that is super basic and you just want to do it real fast, then I do that one. But overall, the winner has to be Opus 4.5.
And that's being deployed through Cursor or Claude Code or Codex, like which
true, Cursor, which does matter because like obviously all the prompt engineering in the background like influences how they work. And although you'd like to think that they are optimizing everything in the background for each model. Like every time a new model comes out and all of that, like there's maybe some bias towards certain ones versus others. So don't know.
It'd be interesting to see what plays out in the next 12 months as well, as that like idea of now incumbency and then like friction of switching, which I've noticed personally. It's just like, well, all of my context is sitting in here. It's almost too hard to like switch out the front end application that you're using.
Well, that's very true. I think for the top two categories that we talked about, general and just general reasoning stuff. With coding, because it's in Cursor, you're switching models within the same chat thread, even for different tasks. And so I feel like that's something where switching is quite easy.
But do you think you could
And
switch from like say Cursor directly to a Claude Code or a Codex like inbuilt IDE in that?
oh, totally. But I like if they were better.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could, because I mean I start new chats constantly. Like I think that's just something that as you use AI more, you realize that you have more control over it if you're not having all this massive amounts of history in each chat thread. So yeah, like every little task I do, it's completely fresh. So it wouldn't matter.
Cool. Okay, next category is more in the vibe coding space. So what's the best vibe coding tool for non-technical people, which is probably maybe 90% plus of our audience, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, I know that, Lovable uses Gemini Flash now. So I guess the faster version, which I thought was interesting, because they have been always Anthropic, like all the Claude models historically, I think by default. So I guess for vibe coding, the platforms are going for speed, because it's all about that user experience of the person like building something, and they're not reviewing the code, they're just testing it and then
Does it
going,
look
no, that
pretty
didn't
and
work.
can I click around and it works? Yeah.
And a lot of it is about the looking pretty as well, which the fast models are fine at that. So I think vibe coding initially, yes, the fast models, your minis and your flashes and stuff, but overall you're going to eventually run into a point where there's some complicated stuff going on in the background, and you will need a more reasoning type model like Opus or 5.2.
In terms of the front end, you still a Lovable by choice over like any of the other vibe coding apps?
Oh, the apps themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lovable. I get emails from Replit all the time telling me to come back and have a look at the new stuff they're doing, because they have that kind of full suite of the back end as well, and the IDE on cloud. So they're probably up there with another solid one. But just when I tested them back in the day, I don't know, Lovable's kind of built from the ground up with AI first. So I'm just
there's a bunch of others. Like I get ads for Base 44 after it got acquired by Wix. They're going ham on advertising to try and get some market share. There's like even more niche ones now that I haven't even tested yet about specifically around the app space, and like ones that you can directly build. Like everything from a vibe coding perspective is typically just a web app that you can deploy on the cloud as a web app. Whereas like a lot of the potential practical use for the D2C space is in that like mobile application that you can deploy to Google Play or the Apple Store. And so there's a few tools that have come out that I'll hopefully get a chance to play with this year, that you can actually build native applications and then deploy them directly to the app stores to release them on mobile.
I thought I read that Lovable was able to do that now, or
going down that space.
Maybe not yet.
So like the last deep dive I did on that quite there. One of my personal apps, I've like just saved the web app to my home screen, and it essentially acts like a app anyway on mobile. But just in terms of like
it doesn't look like it's there yet,
and just getting out to the audience.
Yep.
Cool. And then let's go best image model at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on this in the past. I think like Nano Banana Pro is still, for me, the one that I go to, just because the speed is so much faster. I mean, 5.2 is now faster than like 5
used to be.
But I don't know. I have had a few test cases where I've found it's better, like the result is better.
Okay.
So I'm pretty 50-50. I would actually just do both in parallel.
Just
and
do
then pick
both.
my
Yeah,
favorite.
exactly. That's probably like the answer to most things is like the tools
Yeah.
are so good and so cheap that you just use them
And so
all and then
fast.
personal preference to whatever you want to use,
Yeah, yeah.
which comes
Your
down to
favorite
like,
answer.
yeah, buy yourself a good laptop or a good desktop at a large screen and just have multiple windows open doing a bunch of shit all at once.
Yeah. You need an
Yeah.
agent to go and run all of the other
Yeah.
agents.
And then, yeah, for me, it's still, Nano, Banana, and Gemini is still the best for images just because of that speed and accuracy. And then video, I'm still navigating to the VO3 over anything else. The
Have you got
flow.
Sora 2?
Haven't played with Sora 2 yet. Our slowly Australians, I think, and even me as a Windows and an Android user, I miss out on all of the cool Mac apps and Apple apps. But yeah, I'm keen to play, but still from what I've seen online, like still VO 3.1 is still ahead of Sora 2 personally.
Okay, cool.
And then audio, there's like, I guess, audio we can bucket into like voice audio and music audio. And for me, voice audio is definitely like 11 Labs is streaks ahead. The ability to voice clone and just the amount of voices that they have that actually sound legitimate and no longer robotic is just insane. And then from a music audio perspective, like Suno has been massively game changing this year. Like I've started building out personal songs for birthdays and special events, or just like, hey, we're going to the playground on a Saturday. What can we do to build a song about the activities that we're going to do today?
Oh, totally. And I guess Udio is the competitor to Suno, right? And that's I haven't tried it. I should because it's like I'm super into to Suno. So yeah, it's hard to award an award when I haven't actually tried both options. But yeah, Suno has been awesome. So
cool. Well, that's it for us for our wrap of 2025. Join us next week and we'll dive into some predictions for 2026, which we can look back on in 12 months' time and see how right or wrong we are. Looking at like what's changed in the last 12 months, it's going to be pretty hectic. Like the pace of acceleration is only getting faster. So like the next 12 months are going to be very exciting. So yeah, jump on board, join us for the ride and we'll see what happens.
see you guys later.
Thanks for watching and be sure to like and subscribe to the Heavy AI podcast wherever you're listening to us. And if you'd like to learn more about Heavy, jump on over to heavy.app. Thanks for listening and have a great day.